Kate Roberts now available. First questions from Alanna. Go ahead.
Dave, is JT playing third today, or is he still your DH? I haven't seen your.
Yeah, he's DHing today, and then he'll DH tomorrow as well. And then his first day at third base, my plan is to get him in there on Tuesday.
Okay. We were just talking to Adam Kolarek about just the 3-batter minimum, the fact that he's not opposed certainly to going 1 or 2 innings or whatever, but how do you think he's improved over the course of the time that you've seen him?
I think as far as just the confidence versus right, I know he gave up a homer the other night to Story, but as far as how he puts the right-hander on the ground, and I just think he just throws strikes. So with the lefty behind him, he just is really smart about managing a lineup, whether it's left and right. So my confidence with him to get guys out is as high as it can be.
How much of a bright spot has Kirsch been for you guys this year?
He's been. I mean, he was an all-star last year, but just now where he was ready to go from the first game, from the outset, and just stayed healthy and competed like we all know he can and does and has. Just led this pitching staff like he always has.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next question is from Dave Hasse. Go ahead.
Dave, considering Clayton had to miss his opening day start with that back injury, has he even exceeded your expectations from the way he's pitched this year?
Not by sheer, surface numbers. I think for me, just his willingness to kind of sequence a little bit differently than he normally has. Obviously, the way he takes care of himself is like no one else I've seen. But the numbers itself, I mean, that's just more of a byproduct of all that he's done. So certainly not a surprise, but we've needed his lead because what he's done for Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May and even Walker's been huge.
What do you think has convinced him to buy into the different type of sequencing that you're talking about and have been talking about for the last couple of years?
I think it's just more of just understanding that, the hitters tell you how and when and if you need to make certain adjustments, and appreciating that, he still has the strengths and he's really good at it. But I think that just to kind of change sequencing and pitching patterns just opens up margin. And I know he believes in that. And it's led to, for me, in my opinion, a lot of current success.
His curveball and sliders seem to be close to where they were maybe 2017-ish. Did that part surprise you that he was able to get the depth on both of those pitches consistently every start this year?
I don't think it surprised me. I think it's more of he just hasn't been quite physically where he wanted to be. And he's sort of had to grind through things to find out where his slider's at or his breaking ball's at or the fastball velocity. But I think really right now his body, and I mentioned this yesterday with Corey, is that his body's just moving really well. And when an athlete's body is moving the right way, good things can happen.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Next question is from Ken Gurnick. Go ahead.
Dave, do you have a game for Walker Buehler to start?
I think the plan is for him to pitch on Thursday against the A's.
Thanks.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo.
Dave, we're not really obviously around this year. Just wondering behind the scenes, is Clayton as on game day as intense as he's always been? Has he changed it all this year? How's that behind the scenes?
He's the same Clayton on game day. So there's not a whole lot coming out of his mouth or people approaching him. So he's very focused, which is great.
With Walker, will there be some kind of restriction on him on Thursday?
Well, he threw today, finished off today. Just got word today that he got up to 90 pitches today and came out of it really well. So I think it's just my expectation is it's a regular start.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Gary.
Dave, this bullpen's given you a lot of information for the postseason. What are some of the most important pieces of information that this bullpen has given you?
I think the most important information they've given me is their ability to go up and down and to attack a certain run of hitters, where I think in years past, getting an out, going down to then go back out for part or to finish an inning has been kind of a challenge for some relievers and most relievers in general. But our guys have really been open to that and really thrived.
You know, there's obviously the added roster spots and, circumstances change things, but did you anticipate using this bullpen this much, or is that a result of just seeing how strong this unit is?
It's a result of how many guys there are in the bullpen. And I think that people got to understand that in years past, we've had 7, 8, and at times this year we've had 12. So I think that, again, I keep having the same conversation, that the load that they've taken on with respect to the games played is very comparable to what they've always done.
Next question's from JP Hornstruck. Go ahead, JP.
Hey, Dave, going back to Adam for a second, when that 3-batter minimum rule was announced in the offseason, would you have expected him to be as integral to your bullpen as he's been?
I expected it. Certainly, you have to see it in practice, but Adam is just very smart and understands how to really, obviously, dominating left-hand hitters, but then how to manage and, outside of yesterday or 2 days ago, eliminate slug from the right-hand hitter. So, yeah, I'm not surprised, but, certainly helps to see it.
And could you sort of give me an idea for how you're thinking about these opener type situations? Like, is Walker, for example, somebody who you would use an opener with?
What do you think, JP?
I don't think he would be, but then this
There's
season,
your answer, JP. There's your answer.
This season's been pretty weird in a lot of ways, Dave, so I figured I'd ask.
You're going to ask me if Clayton's going to be an opener too, or he's a candidate?
No, I'm not. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, JP.
I think I have one more from Ken. Go ahead, Ken.
Hey, when you say that Buehler's throwing these sim games, is that with the blister covered or not covered?
It was kind of, I don't know. I think it was a little bit of a combo, just kind of making sure that we don't tax it too much or expose it too much. But I think some of it was certainly kind of nothing. Obviously, we're just trying to protect it, but I don't know exactly. I just know how many pitches he threw today.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.